That's kind of our whole focus. We have kids from all over the place, right? So we don't get to practice a lot. We can't, we can't really like get the reps in together that we would be to like, teach a swing or, teach a how to field a ground ball per se. So really all we can do is like, we just spend most of our time talking about mindset.
Well, welcome to the Car Ride Home podcast. I am honored today to be joined by Jeremy Higdon. Jeremy is, I'm going to call you the owner and founder of both Fury Platinum and Connect Sports, obviously with your wife, Jill. Jeremy's also one of our co-commissioners with the Southeastern Fast Pitch League, and him and Jill are also Alliance board members as well. Jeremy, welcome to the Car Ride Home.
Thanks for having me.
I hear this is your first time, so we'll take it easy. We'll start slow here, set the scene in the car ride. I'm real interested of how you're going to answer this one. What kind of music are we
Oh,
listening to in the car ride home?
in the car ride home. Okay. So Jill and I coached high school ball together. That would have been in, let's see, '05 through 2010. And in our second year of coaching, we won a state championship. So that would have been maybe '06 or something like that. And we listened to the current Maroon 5 album, like on a CD, obviously. Like I think until it broke. I think until the CD broke. So it's going way back, but it was Maroon 5 almost that entire season, but especially at state tournament when we were driving back and forth in the playoffs. It was old school Maroon 5.
I could appreciate some Maroon 5. What's going around right
Right.
now? Like what's in Jeremy Higdon's playlist, like top group?
So now when we're driving around, so typically when we're driving around in the summer now, it's Crosby, my associate head coach, and Valerie Cagle. The three of us are riding around together all the time, and they don't really care to listen to music, but I have to have music. And so I've got the volume on about 5 so that I can still kind of hear it, but it's not like driving them crazy. And right now it's probably like, Morgan Wallen, the Noah Kahan album just came out. I've been listening to that. What did we listen to? Oh, it was all fall. It was Zach Bryan. So it's a little more country, kind of Americana stuff these days,
I like it. I
just
like
to
this one
keep it
was really
chilling. But it's definitely background. It's definitely background music because I have to cater to Crosby and Valerie.
Next most important question, where are we eating on our
And
car ride home?
so, after a long day at the ball field, Crosby and I are, much to Valerie's chagrin, we are like bar foods junkies. So like after a long day at the ball field, I want to go somewhere, have a beer, have some wings, some cheese fries, or just something terrible. And Crosby's all about it. And then Valerie will like order a salad or whatever.
It's like she's still a big time athlete training or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's still in training. Right, right, right.
I've never asked this question, but I think this one's important because I am going to label you as, if not the best, one of the best dressed coaches in travel ball. So I got to know, before the car ride home, what's going into the
Okay.
game day coaching attire?
So are you talking about on field?
Let's go on field.
Okay. All right. Um, I only have the exact same black Fury Platinum shirt. I have 9 of the exact same New Balance Fury Platinum shirt. I've got about 7 larges and 3 or 4 extra larges, depending on how I feel that day.
Depending on how much bar food you
Um,
had.
yeah, yeah, something like that. And then, I honestly, I'm weird about the color shorts I wear, depending on where we are in the tournament or if the game is a big game. So like, if we're like in pool play or we're early in the tournament, I'm usually wearing gray. And then as the tournament goes on and the games get a little more serious, and I have no idea why this is true, I'm definitely in black shorts. So I'm black on black. And the hat stays the same. The hat's always the same.
I knew I didn't even ask this in advance. I knew there was thought that went into this. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just all insanity, you know? It's just like, it's crazy.
I can understand that
But
completely.
I don't have the, and I don't know why. Like, I wish that I could, like, my creativity's not in, like, the way that Scott, like, has I think Scott Smith of the Bombers, I think Scott wears an outfit and then throws it away, you know, and then he just has it feels like he has a brand new outfit every single time he steps on the field. And so I envy him actually for his on field style,
Goals.
but I got him off the field. I got him off the field and he knows it.
All right, last car ride specific question, but what is one of your most memorable car rides? When I say that, what's the first thing that comes to mind of a memorable car ride home?
Okay. Got me on the spot. Memorable car ride home. So we were in California coaching. Uh, we were watching. We were in California with our 16U and 18U teams, and our 14U team was playing JO Cup JO Cup championship game in like St. Louis or something. And so we're having to go to the airport in California to pick up uh somebody from the airport, you know, between nationals or whatever it was, PGF days. And we're watching, let's see, one of us has the game streaming on whatever USA softball's platform is. And then somebody else the has the stats because we'll like lose the feed. And then so we get to the airport, we're picking whoever up, but at some point we pull over on the side of the road to like watch the last 2 outs of an inning or something like that. And then we rush back to the hotel. And me and whoever it was in Bloomer, we all pile into our uh, hotel room and we watched the last inning of the JO Cup National Championship on an iPad or a laptop or something, and we won. So that's probably it. The back and forth with the pulling off on the side of the road so we didn't lose the feed to watch the out or whatever. That's probably pretty memorable.
That is memorable. I feel like a
That
lot
would have been like 2018. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, Jeremy, you and I have known each other now for years through softball, both on the event level and then with teams too. But just give some background. I might even learn here too. Just your background of, did you play sports growing up? Where did you grow up? And how were you first introduced to the sport of softball?
So I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga has always been a huge softball town. From it was a real when it was really popular, Chattanooga was a big like adult men's softball, slow pitch and fast pitch, and something called modified, which is another deal. And the local industries around here were really into it, and so and of course, kind of adult sports has really gone away in the States, but so a lot of those same men that played modified slow pitch, fast pitch, like when they had daughters later, they kind of invested all that back into, and I think it's a big reason why like women's and girls fast pitch is so huge in Chattanooga. All that to be said, I had a cousin that was 8 years older than me that played, and my uncle, her dad coached her. So we were always at the ball field watching her. And then he continued to coach. He continued to coach after she was finished. And if you're familiar with Chattanooga and you know Frost Stadium, that stadium is named after Jim Frost of Frost Cutlery, which is a like international knife company. And so the stadium is named after him because he was big and he had teams called Frost Falcons back in the day. And my uncle coached Frost Falcons teams. And so anyway, I just grew up at the ball field. So I played baseball growing up, but it was like I would leave my baseball games and we would go to the softball field and we would watch my uncle's teams and watch other teams. And so, one of my dad's best friends, my whole life, they worked together. He's now been the head coach at UT Chattanooga for 20 years, Coach Reed. He coached his daughter coming up. And we would go watch we would go watch their travel ball team, and he became a college coach, and Jill played for him. So just kind of like it's a softball city, and it was part of my family. And so,
But then you literally married into the sport. Is that how you met Jill, your wife too?
yeah, married into the sport. We met each other. Jill played at LSU and UT Chattanooga. We met in Chattanooga, and her story's really interesting. It's a kind of a long path, but that's for her to tell. But yeah, we met in Chattanooga while she was here in college playing softball, and we got married. And uh, right out of right out of college, she got a high school coaching job, and we coached together. And yeah, we coached together 1 year of high school. One of our players asked if we would help coach her travel ball team. So we did. We did that for a couple years. Took a year off. Jill got pregnant. We didn't coach at all that summer. After we had Crawford, the next year we started an organization called Fury Fast Pitch. That was '07.
Well, let's get into it because I want to start with the Fury Platinum organization, and you and I were talking a little bit. I feel like, and I've watched the growth of Fury Platinum, especially in the last 5 years, and you guys just finished top three at the AFCS. I got chills thinking about your run through the 18U AFCS last year with that team, and you've always, especially in recent years, you guys have been competitive, been one of the top teams, but we've gotten to watch this rise. Can you go back to the roots, of Fury and how it all came to be and where the
Mhm.
organization actually started?
So we started Fury Fast Pitch in '07. We had one 18U team. Apologies to anybody that hears this that was on that team, but I think they would agree that we were not very good. We did a decent job of getting our kids on to the next level of playing college, but the next year of Fury Fast Pitch, we had two teams. We had an 18U team and a 16U team. 16U team was pretty good. The 18U team got a little better. That third year, I believe we had three teams. I think we were an 18U team, a 16U team, and a 14U team. Um, 18U team finally got over the hump when we qualified for Gold Nationals. And if you're not familiar with the old system, Gold Nationals was crazy. It was 64 teams. You had to qualify to get in. It was almost more difficult to qualify than it was to do well once you got there. It was wild. So we finally got over the hump and qualified for 18 gold. And then so I guess that year was kind of the year that our Fury Fast Pitch group kind of like got on the map a little bit. And then I think over the next, let's see, over the next probably 4 years or so, we grew into about 10 teams and went all the way down to 10U, something like that. But in 2014, Jill and I, we started Fury Fast Pitch, the original organization, with another couple of guys. And in 2014, Jill and I just decided it was time for us to kind of go our own way and be able to kind of completely chase our own vision for what we wanted a club to be. And so we started the Fury Platinum brand. And we went back and forth for a really long time on whether or not we were going to still be Fury or what we were going to be. And I couldn't stand the idea of losing the connection with all of our former players from those years because I loved them so much. And they were so important to, where we are. And so we remained Fury and we added the platinum, part. And so we still get to kind of share that history and share that, kind of alumni, group with those players. So, so 2014, I guess, was our first year as Fury Platinum, and we had, three teams that first year, three Fury Platinum teams, a 14U team, a 16U team, and an 18U team. Our 14U team that year is, our 14U team that year kind of came all the way up through, with us, coached by a guy named by two guys, Sam Thomas and Joe Fowler. Didn't have kids playing. Their kids were already done. They had a core group of kids since they were like 8 years old that they coached in Franklin, Tennessee. They brought them along. And in that group was, ultimately on that team was Kaylee Harding, who's a senior at Florida State, preseason All-American, and Jenna Johnson, who plays uh, left field for Alabama, and Aaliyah Lagaleo, who played shortstop at Clemson last year, and now she's at third base. Um, a lot of other people to name, but those are kind of that group really put the Fury Platinum brand on the map especially as they got into 16U. So
You guys, especially in probably the past 3, 4, 5 years, have really grown the organization where you went maybe 20
mhm.
teams to 40 teams to 50 plus teams. What do you attribute to the growth of that inside your organization? Are there some real things that you guys did or were intentional about that really grew the org?
So I referenced earlier our JO Cup championship in 2018 14U. The number one pitcher on that team was Sydney Berzon. Sydney's a sophomore at LSU. She was a freshman last year. She was an All-American at LSU as a freshman. Sid started with us when she was 12. Um, and interesting fact, another pitcher that threw with that team was Keegan Rothrock. So Keegan did not play for us. She was never in our club, but Keegan pitched probably 4 days at JO Cup that year, and then went to PGF with the team that she was on at the time. So, but that was Sydney's team, and the coach of that team was Jimmy Hutchins, and Jimmy had been with us for several years before that, and Jimmy is a really key part of everything that we're doing with Fury Platinum. But we had the opportunity in 2021, bring Jimmy on full time with Fury Platinum, and Jimmy is responsible for our growth down the line. So that's what he does pretty much all day, every day, is communicates with our teams and communicates with teams that are interested in joining Fury Platinum. So from 2021, I believe I think in 2021, when he came on full time, we had 5 teams, and now we have 75 teams.
And that's literally just having a person dedicated to talking to teams, right?
Mhm. Right. Yep. It's very important for us as a club that what we say internally is that we want to help you get from wherever you are to wherever you want to go, whatever level that is. Very important to us that our coaches of our Fury Platinum teams know who they are, know who their team is, and that their goals are realistic. And as long as that's the case, as long as the coach understands who their team is and their goals are realistic, we're on board to help them get to wherever they want to get, you know? Mm.
I love that. And speaking of coaching staff, you already referenced Crosby and Val, your coaching staff. That is quite impressive. But what do you think, and what have you already seen? You guys, you finished top 3 last year, had an incredible run through the AFCS at the 18U level. What in the past 9 months, what have you seen that do even for the growth of your brand, the growth of the org? Has it impacted that at all?
I think it certainly has. I mean, we've added, I guess we've probably added 25 teams, since the end of last summer. So some of those teams, we added during last summer, but we went from roughly around 50 to now roughly around 75. So, it's it's really difficult to put a direct value on anything, but it's hard to believe that, that additional exposure, wasn't helpful. And like, I would really, I mean, I would give a hats off to the Alliance, honestly, and the job that the Alliance did of promoting AFCS. And I mean, the press conferences that we did during nationals. I mean, that's unprecedented in travel ball. And, and you saw it, there's so many of those interviews and clips of interviews got 50, 70, 80,000 views. And like, that's huge. It was huge for the club and huge for our players. And I actually got to, when I was in Clearwater, this is really off the subject, but when I was in Clearwater, last weekend at the college tournament. I was standing with with my pitcher, Jazzy Francis, who is a senior in high school. And she and I were standing on the wall watching the game. And she's a senior in high school. And she had a girl come to her and ask her for a selfie. And then after she got her selfie, then there were like three others that were like too shy to come ask, that hopped in and they wanted a selfie with Jazz.
That's so cool.
And she's in high school. And there's no way that the exposure that our team and she got during AFCS wasn't a part of that. So
That's so cool. I mean, the success of your team for you probably was no surprise, especially with the two-headed monster you have of pitching. Or maybe it was, right? But can you can you talk about those two and your pitching staff and how that helped fuel your team? And you got to tell the story of Jazz and her bullpens and what she does.
oh, I don't know what you mean.
Right? Isn't she the one that like doesn't have a catcher to is she the one that
Oh,
throws?
you mean at her house?
Yeah.
At her house. Yeah. So first of all, the way that Jazzy Francis and Julie Kelly, and they're both from Florida. Jazz is going to Florida State, and Julie's going to Kentucky. Very different, really different stylistically, and really different from a demeanor standpoint. It's actually pretty crazy, and they love each other. So they love each other. They're pulling for each other all the time. And, they showed up to California and they just had taken it really seriously all summer, and they got better and better as the summer went along. I mean, those two just kept their composure, like consistently kept their composure day after day after day after day. And we were just trying to scratch a run or two out, and they just, stayed tough and stuck to it, never got down on their teammates when we, couldn't get more than one run. When one of the games that we were able to beat Mercado, Julie threw a 6 1/3 inch shutout innings and hit the home run. We won the game 1-0. Julie threw 6 1/3 scoreless and then hit a home run for the one run. And we would have loved to score a lot more runs than we did at Nationals, but we did it. And there was never even a hint from either of those two that there was any frustration on their part toward their teammates. And so I don't know. They were wonderful teammates, and they just locked in, and the rest of their teammates were great teammates. And so, but they set the tone. So
That's so
yeah,
cool. Well, you happen to
just great
have
teammates.
probably the most athletic assistant coach at the AFCS too in Valerie Cagle, who she too could throw a shutout and hit a home run for a win. What is the impact of having, not just a current player, a national player of the year, and somebody like that in your dugout all summer long? What was that impact on your players?
So direct impact. And a lot, obviously she steps in a little bit and helps us with hitting, but primarily, we brought her in to work with our pitchers, and, she really, really helped Julie with her style. She really helped Julie hone in a style that's like really all hers. Um, and that really helped Julie focus and be successful. And then she really helped Jazz with her mentality and how she approached the game. Valerie says, and I think she referenced it without saying any names, on the call the other night that we did, that she had one pitcher last summer in Nationals that is really similar to her stylistically, which was all Valerie's doing, by the way. And she had one pitcher on the staff that was really similar to her mentally. So I think she was a huge part for both of them and growing their confidence and their approach and everything. So yeah, no, and honestly, Valerie is she's a great coach. And I'm actually really skeptical of young pitching coaches. I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but because they don't have any experience really other than just doing it the way they did it. And Val uh, it has exceeded every expectation I could ever have for a 22-year-old, to coach at a really elite level. She's just really good. So if any college coaches are watching this, at least let her stay with me for one more summer, please. And you're looking for a pitching coach, she can do it at a really high level.
It's not everybody can play at that high of a level and then translate that into a coaching role and communicate that
Damn,
to players.
man. And Crosby's going to kill me because Crosby's our hitting coach. And I've been talking about how we couldn't hit at nationals and, uh, and talking about our pitching staff, but it is what it is.
There's so many
Crosby's a
intangibles.
fantastic,
Right.
Crosby's a fantastic hitting, Crosby's a fantastic hitting coach. I told you I had to sit down after nationals and compare our batting average to our opponent's batting average, and our batting average was higher. So
Shout out to Crosby that you just got to score one
that's,
more run than the opponent.
that's it. That's it.
That's it.
She's the master.
I know you love coaching. You love your players, and you are one of the few you love pitching too. Where does that come from? And what do you love the most about coaching, especially at this level with the youth players?
Um, and the biggest challenge to me is to get a whole group of players on the same page mentally. Like that's kind of our whole focus. You know, we have kids from all over the place, right? So we don't get to practice a lot. We can't, we can't really like get the reps in together that we would be to like, teach a swing or, teach a how to field a ground ball per se, So really all we can do is like, we just spend most of our time talking about mindset and individual players getting themselves to where they need to get to be successful, being able to focus and refocus, um, through the course of an entire game. And then also be great teammates. That's what we stress. I'm really proud that a lot of our former players, given the opportunity to talk about their experience with us, they talk about, they learn to be a great teammate with us. So, and that's our focus. Be a great teammate. Um, be a great teammate, have a good mindset, and, have the ability to stay focused and be focused and get yourself where you need to be when you need to get there.
That's awesome. You just went coach mode.
That's the most fun part to me.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Sorry.
Is there anything that you guys do because you're not all from the same area, and even right now,
Mhm.
most of the girls are in high school. Is there anything you guys do throughout the year just to kind of stay connected, stay in touch with each other?
I mean, we have our team text group and I'll send them stuff through that, but like I stay in touch, with all of our girls, kind of one-on-one. I think that's really helpful, but, no, from time to time, we'll like hop on a Zoom or something, but that's not very regular. It's so difficult. I mean, especially in the spring when they're all playing, but even in the winter, they're playing other sports and doing other things. It's really difficult to get them all together. So no, I mean, we've got really great leadership. We had really great leadership last year. We have really great leadership now, and they kind of do a really nice job of staying in touch with each other and kind of knowing what's going on. I think social media makes that a little easier with all of the negative things that can be said about social media. It helps them kind of know what's going on in their teammates' lives, and they get to like, comment on stuff and, DM each other when something pops up. So it's actually pretty helpful. I think they stay in touch. They stay in touch actually more than I know. Right. So they'll tell me about a conversation they had with such and such last week. I'm like, oh, you talked to her? And they're like, yeah. So
That means you've created a culture, by the way, which is awesome, and that it's probably so nice too as a coach to just let your players take it and run with it.
yeah,
And
absolutely. That's my preference. Um, we really at the 18U level, and it's difficult for some of the parents and even some of the kids, but like when they get to us at 18U, they get treated like adults. We communicate via email with parents about travel arrangements, and obviously those things like cost money and have planning to do. So the parents have to be in charge of that. But when it comes to anything, related to softball, we communicate with players only, and it's their responsibility to pass that along to whoever they have to pass it along to. But we treat them like adults, and so
so
we expect them to we expect them to act like adults and take responsibility for themselves.
That's big because very soon they're gonna have to do that on their own
That,
when they get to school.
no.
Let's switch gears, Jeremy. We're gonna because you wear multiple hats, so we're gonna go from Coach Higdon to event. And what you guys have built with Connect Sports in the Chattanooga area is incredible. And I know kind of the back end, especially between you and Jill. But can you talk about how kind of just a summary of how the event started for you guys and how that's grown into what is now today with Connect Sports, especially an event like Scenic City?
So the first event we ever ran was an individual showcase event, and we were trying to raise money for our travel ball team. It wasn't even a Fury team. It was before that. It was the original travel ball team that our high school player asked us to help coach. So we ran this kind of individual recruiting event. We had a little bit of connections with college coaches, and we got college coaches to show up, and individual players paid money, and we put them through basically a combine and a workout. And, it was like a recruiting event. We did that to raise money for our team. We did it the next year to raise money for our team. And maybe we did it one more year, and then we spun that into a showcase tournament. That would have been maybe first year of Scenic City. Scenic City is our kind of flagship event. First year of Scenic City summer was 2007, and we had 51 teams in Scenic City summer, and then we had Scenic City fall, and we had 38 teams in Scenic City fall. And so this is our 18th year of Scenic City summer, and will be our 18th year of Scenic City fall, and they're both a lot bigger than that now.
Y-
But
What's the
we're really fortunate. We're in a softball city. We have within a 45-minute radius, we have 90 softball fields that are high enough quality for us to host 14U and up showcase event. That's completely unheard of. We have the hotels. We have the hotels to support our event, and then we have an incredibly cooperative visitors bureau with Chattanooga Sports Tourism and our city. And you've been to Chattanooga, and you've met those different people and see how they work together. And they're technically from different, they're from different sectors of what's going on in our city. And you see, I mean, it's a I don't even like to throw this around, but and you felt it. It's a family. We know each other's kids, and are always keeping up with each other with everything that's going on. So yeah, I was really, really fortunate. I mean, again, it's a city that I grew up in, and we have this insane infrastructure that favors the business that we do. So
Oh, it's incredible. For anybody that had I'm gonna plug Chattanooga just to go as a visitor, but the love and support of softball is real. And that's what's been really cool, even with our Alliance Fast Pitch Open National and what's been built and what you guys have done and your team at Connect Sports has done. Like that is incredible. From the time a kid steps off the plane in Chattanooga, it's excitement about softball. And then everything is right there. In events, what fires you up? What gets you excited? I think you and I before have, like, called it an art, but what fires you up about creating events?
dial good matchups. Love softball at every level. I love a you know 6, 7, 8 inning game, whatever it is, right? With, um, 3-2, 6-5, just love a good softball game. And so we're just trying to create as many of those as possible, over the span of a full tournament. So no, I just love good softball, and I like being part of helping create good softball. So it's the thing that we spend the most time on and pride ourselves on the most is research and making sure that the right teams are paired up with the right teams. That's the best experience that any team or parent or player can have is showing up and playing 5, 6, 8 just really good softball games.
I'm gonna give some credit to the team that you guys have built at Connect Sports is incredible. The behind the scenes and the group that's running these events like Scenic City, making it a great experience for all these teams. Can you explain just how especially getting some former players back into the business, of just what that team at Connect Sports means to you, and then what role do you specifically play in Connect Sports now?
Well, you and I have been talking about this for as long as we've known each other. We both are pretty passionate about creating opportunities for former players to stay in the game in as many different ways as possible, right? Not everybody wants to be a coach. Not everybody has the skill set to be a coach. And so, I think that we both share there's real business here in our sport and creating opportunities for former players to plug into that side and that part of their skill set. So we have 10 full-time employees that are no, it's eight. We have eight full-time employees who are all former collegiate softball players. Some of them played for us, some of them didn't. Uh and it's really special. It's they kind of have kind of what it takes to because what we do is really difficult. I mean, they get the people that work for us, their fall season and their summer season, they get crushed. And it takes a lot of resiliency and it takes a lot of mental toughness and like all the things that we need from players. So, they're kind of ready, like we kind of figure out what they're good at, like for what we're doing and then plug them in and, they're just fantastic. I've primarily focused on marketing and branding and growing our company, and Jill manages the operations and logistics of our company, and so we kind of operate a little bit in separate lanes when it comes to that. But yeah, no, just love it. I love working with our young women. It's fantastic. Nothing makes me happier than walking into the office and everybody being there and they nothing, I guess nothing makes me happier than how much they love each other. So it's really cool. They love
Literally
spending time
building.
with each other.
It's
They'll spend 2 weeks together on the road and come home for 2 days and try to find a way to get together. Like, you guys are crazy.
that's that's
Mm.
culture. That's definitely culture. That's why you and I get along too, and we always have to have a Jill around us to actually execute
Right.
the idea. For anybody, Jeremy, that especially because you are right in the middle of it, building an organization, building an event. What's your best advice? Not only to get started, but to really to grow it.
Hmm. Um, I really do think it's kind of what we talked about earlier is like know who you are and what you want to do as a club, know the resources you want to bring to other teams, and just make sure that lines up with with make sure what you want to provide as an organization head lines up with what the teams that are coming to your organization want from you. To me, that's longevity, is being on the same page, like from the jump. The other alternative is just a ton of turnover and attrition. And like, I just don't care to do that. You know, I don't want to be replacing 25 teams every year because they thought they were getting one thing from the club and really they're not. So,
It's important. Well, we're gonna wrap this up with some rapid fire. You're
okay.
actually in Montana right now, and I appreciate you
Thank you.
taking the time. Very important. Skiing or snowboarding?
Skiing.
So all skiing.
No.
Best dressed coach in softball other than yourself.
On
And it can
field,
be travel or on the field. Travel, college, who are the best dressed?
I told you I got to give it to Scott. Scott kills it. And Karina. Best Karina.
Oh,
Best got style.
that does have style.
Mm-hmm.
It's little pay attention to these. Working with your wife in both sides of the business. How do you guys manage that? And then how do you specifically step away and separate life and work?
So we like each other a lot. It's really helpful. We really enjoy being around each other. We're really, we communicate a ton. So well, I kind of know my lane. She knows hers. Our personalities complement each other. They're not similar at all, but they complement each other. But we have, we have to communicate a lot to keep everything, to, to kind of stay in our lanes. Right. And we trust each other to take care of each other's part. So, um, yeah, I think it's respect, communication, and trust that the other person's going to take care of their stuff. So,
And you like each other a lot. That's big. One
yeah,
person,
and we like each other a lot.
you're both fun, I think. One person in the
Yeah.
alliance who surprised you the most now that you've gotten to know them.
Mike Stiss. I met Mike probably 10 years ago. He came into Chattanooga, actually did a hitting clinic for like our old cheery group. So maybe it was like 13 years ago. Um, and Mike, he says what he thinks. He says what's on his mind. I've really grown to, and I think because he does that and he he doesn't always like wrap everything in a lot of niceties. He just is really straightforward and to the point. I think that's how he is as a business person. It's how he is as a coach, and that's how he is as a board member and, commissioner of the PCFL. But, he's real straightforward. And so I've just grown to appreciate Mike over the years and, really, really like him and his perspective on, kind of everything that we do. But he and I don't really have similar personalities at all. And so, it took me a minute, but I really do like Mike a lot. Consider him a friend.
Love that. What's one of the things you're most proud about? You've been a big part of the alliance and the growth. What's one of the things you're most proud of about the alliance in the 3.5 years we've been around?
I think I'm most proud of that. Everybody has remained really passionate about creating more and more opportunities for women, for girls and women. It's just continued to be the focus, and everybody seems to be in line on it. Everybody gets excited and is passionate about us creating another opportunity, another avenue.
And then finally, what does it mean to you? I know you were just at the Clearwater College Tournament. What does it mean to you to watch your former players that you've coached and spent around? What does it mean to watch them now succeed at the next level?
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's too much. I can barely even think about it. The guy was in between fields 8 and 9 on, Saturday morning when they rescheduled everything. And I had Sydney throwing on field 9, Shelby Walters throwing on field 8, and, Emma Wilson throwing for Florida State did not play for us, but Emma's little sister Ava is on my team, and her dad Lance is on my coaching staff. And like, so 3 of the 4 starting pitchers, it was personal. It's like, jeez. So I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. I like can't stand it and can barely talk about it. Like really, it just makes me like super emotional.
I love it. That's what I was gonna end it with. End it with that one. Well, Jeremy, it's been fun not only working together, but just building a friendship with you, and I respect the heck out of what you guys are doing. So thanks for joining us on the car ride home.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm coming down for spring training in a few weeks, so maybe you can meet us
Yeah, for sure.
with
Where are you guys?
Tim Morgan. We're going to watch Brave spring training in like the Sarasota area.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
Sounds
yeah, if
terrible.
it works out.
Sounds
Yeah, right. If it works out, maybe we can hang.
awesome.
All
Well,
right, I'm
go
going
enjoy
skiing.
skiing. Have fun.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Hey guys, we hope you're enjoying the Car Ride Home podcast. Hopefully, we're filling the air and making your car ride home a little bit more enjoyable. Please be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, and leave us a review. If you have any special guest or requests that you'd like to hear, or have us bring a guest or a story onto the podcast, shoot us an email, info@thealliancefastpitch.com. We'd love to hear from you.